Study section 11. English intonation. Introduction. It is good for a listener of the English suprasegmentals to know that the three English suprasegmentals, i.e., stress, intonation, and rhythm, function together and not as distinct units as we learn them. The three English suprasegmentals of pitch are interrelated. Though we study English in portions for ease of learning, it does not mean that when stress is applied, intonation is not, or rhythm is ignored. They all function together. Earlier, we discussed stress. Now, we shall discuss intonation. Do not forget that even in our study of intonation, we need our knowledge of stress because intonation relies heavily on stress to perform its functions in the English language. Learning outcomes for study section 11. When you have studied this section, you should be able to define and use correctly all of the key words printed in bold. Explain the concept of intonation. Exemplify components of tone group. Identify different intonation tunes and exemplify. 1. What is intonation? A very vital characteristic of spoken language is the musical pitch of the voice. When English sentences are made, they are characteristically altered with variation in pitch, which may either rise or fall. This is referred to as intonation. It is important that we understand fairly well the intonation system of English because it can lead to misunderstanding if misperceived. When someone says, "It is not what is said that angered me, but how he said it," the issue is usually an intonation misperception or undertone. We need to realize at this point that intonation is often an area of difficulty for second language users of English, whose mother tongues are tonal. We therefore have to work hard at understanding the basic English intonation tunes. Since English intonation is also as challenging to learn as the stress we earlier discussed, do note that English intonation is more complex than what the textbooks could document. However, knowing the basic tunes and their characteristics and components could go a long way in helping a non-native user cope with English intonation. ITQ. Why is intonation an area of difficulty for second language users of English, whose mother tongues are tonal? ITA. In tonal languages, intonation functions on individual words. That is, it contrasts meaning of individual words, e.g., Yoruba, Orun, sun, Orun, stench, Orun, sleep. In intonational languages, it functions on a tone group. English intonations affect grammatical units such as phrases, clauses, and sentences. However, do not forget that there are instances where a single word could be functioning as a complete meaningful unit. In this instance, the word will be taken as a tone group. Yes, as a response to the question, "Are you traveling tomorrow?" is a complete thought. It is therefore considered an intonation group. Consequently, the pitch pattern of an English sentence will be referred to as its intonation. Intonation patterns carry different information about sentences, depending on whether the utterance is a question or a statement, whether or not there is an important word to be emphasized in the utterance, and the attitude of the speaker towards what is being said or the hearer. For instance, yes with a falling tone is emphatic, while yes with a rising tone is either doubtful or a question. Before looking at the various functions of intonation tones, let us take a quick look at the components of a tone group. Components of a tone group. A tone group is the domain of intonation. It may be a lone word utterance, a phrase, a clause, or a sentence. Earlier, you came across the example of the word yes. Yes, when uttered alone, could constitute a TG. Other grammatical constituents that usually coincide with a TG are phrases, clauses, and sentences. The TG has four components, which are the optional, pre-ed, ed, obligatory, tonic syllable, and optional, tail. The pre-ed is constituted by all the unstressed syllables before the first stressed syllable in the group. The ed consists of all syllables from the first stressed syllable to the last syllable before the tonic syllable. The tonic syllable or nucleus is the last stressed syllable in the group. As the term suggests, it is the only obligatory part of the tone group, though other parts are optional, not present in all tone group. The tonic syllable is obligatory and indispensable. It is the tonic syllable that is assigned the pitch direction. If the pitch should fall, it does on the tonic syllable. If it should rise, it does on the tonic syllable. This makes the tonic syllable a very important part of the tone group. Let us look at this sentence. The man returned yesterday. D is the pre-ed. Man returned is the ed. The tonic syllable of the sentence above is the yes of yesterday, being the last stressed syllable in the tone group. Today will constitute the tail, being all unstressed syllable after the tonic syllable or nucleus. The tone will fall on the tonic syllable since the sentence is a statement. If you want to alter the syllable as a yes or no question, the tone will have to rise on that syllable. Always make your tone rise or fall on the tonic syllables of your utterances. The tonic syllables are the last stressed syllables of your tone groups. Let us look at the following sentence. If you love her, marry her. There are two tone groups in this sentence. These are if you love her and marry her. The tone will rise on the syllable love, being the last stressed syllable in the first tone group, and fall on the syllable ma of marry, being the last stressed syllable of the second tone group. Int, pre-ed, all unstressed syllables before the first stressed syllable, optional. Ed, from the first stressed syllable to the last stressed syllable before the tonic syllable, optional. Nucleus, the last stressed syllable, obligatory. Tail, every unstressed syllable after the nucleus, optional. Intonational tunes. We will now discuss the intonation tunes and their functions. Though many linguists have proposed different numbers of intonation tunes for English, we will make this easier by proposing that there are basically two intonational tunes used in the English language. These are the rise tune and the fall tune. The difference in the numbers of tunes proposed has to do with the combination of these tunes to perform different functions. The tone groups may be altered at various pitch levels or combined in various ways to achieve different meanings. Therefore, we could have high fall, low fall, high rise, low rise, rise fall, fall rise, etc. Now, let us discuss the various functions these intonation tunes can perform when we produce English utterances. They may perform grammatical functions such as differentiating between types of sentences. Sentences may be statements, WH questions, which are questions beginning with when, where, what, why, how, etc. Yes or no questions, technically called polar questions, which require the respondents to either answer yes or no. Commands and exclamations. Also, they may be used to depict warnings, requests, and greetings. Now that we know there are basically two tunes and that they may be presented or combined in various ways, let us take a look at the functions of the various tunes, starting from the fall tune. Fall tune. You may use the fall tune to show finality. This implies that there is no other information expected in that utterance. We use the falling tune for the following. Simple statements. Statements often give the impression of finality. There is often no additional information expected. He married a white lady. Many of them return after the holiday. She is a good presenter on television. 2. Simple commands. A command is an order that must be obeyed. This is usually uttered by a superior to someone under his control. Get your bag. Show me your assignments. Return my books as early as possible. 3. WH questions. WH questions are questions that start with words such as what, who, him, why, where, how, etc. For this type of question, the tune should fall on the last stressed syllable. What are the names of your friends? Who is hosting the next meeting? Where is the blue pen I gave to Mary? Exclamation. An exclamation is something you say suddenly and loudly because you are surprised, excited, or angry. Ridiculous. Impressive. Amazing. These are uttered with the following tune. In a box, simple statements, simple commands, WH questions, exclamations. Under simple statement, he married a white lady. Many of them will return after the holiday. She is a good presenter on television. Under simple commands, get your bag. Show me your assignments. Return my book as early as possible. WH questions. What are the names of your friends? Who is hosting the next meeting? Where is the blue pen I gave to Mary? Exclamations. Ridiculous. Impressive. Amazing. Rising tune. The rising tune is used for polar questions, in brackets, yes or no. Polite requests and changing statements to questions. Let's start with polar questions. Polar questions. These are questions that require either a yes or no response. Let us look at the following. Are the women in the country all educated? Will the people agree with the president on fuel subsidy removal? Do you know the danger in smoking marijuana as a youth? Polite request. Most of us do not know how to politely or formally ask for something without offending the person we need to address. We use the rising tune to state polite request. We need to know that when we assign the falling tune to what we intend to state as a polite request, we will alter a command. Therefore, to alter the following as polite request, use the rising tune. Please call the vendor. Could you get me a pair of socks? Pass the water, please. Changing statements to questions. You can use the rising tune to change sentences that have the structure of statements to questions. Let us look at the following pairs. Statements. You like the design? Question. You like the design? Statements. Mary bought a new car. Question. Mary bought a new car? The statements are uttered with the following tune. while the questions, still maintaining the same structure, are uttered with a rising tune. These are uttered with a rising tune in the boss. Combination of the fall and rise tune. Fall or rise, rise or fall. Earlier, we discussed how the falling and rising tunes are used for different utterances. Now, we shall discuss how to combine the two tunes for various expressions with different meanings. We shall start with the rise and fall tune. Combination of the rise and fall tunes. To separate clauses. The rise and fall tunes are used when there are two or more than two clauses in a sentence. The incomplete part is said with a rising tune, while the clause that completes it is said with a falling tune. Let us look at the following complex sentences. Wherever you go, be a good boy. As soon as she arrived, I told her to take her baby and leave. Before he left for Abuja, he sent me a text message. Listing items. The combination of the rise and fall tunes is also used when listing items. The rise tune is used on each item until we get to the last item, which takes the fall tune. Mary, John, Peter, and Grace. He bought a pair of shoes, clothes, and ties. She got some pencils, erasers, and biro. These utterances are uttered with the rising and falling tunes combined in a burst to separate clauses, listing items. Wherever you go, be a good boy. Listing items: Mary, John, Peter, and Grace. To separate clauses: as soon as she arrived, I told her to take her baby and leave. Listing items: he bought a pair of shoes, some clothes, and ties. To separate clauses: before he leaves for Abuja. Take two. Before he left for Abuja, he sent me a text message. Listing items: she got some pencils, erasers, and biros. Combination of the fall or rise tunes. The falling and rising tunes may be combined in certain utterances. Let us look at them below. Tag questions. Tag questions are questions that are formed by adding tags such as can't we, wouldn't we, or is it to a sentence. When we produce utterances that ends with question tags, we use the combined fall or rise tune. The falling tune will be on the statement part, while the rising tune will be assigned to the question tag, which sounds like a yes or no question. Do you remember that yes or no questions take the rising tune? Do not forget. Let us look at the following. Statement: is very active. Fall tune. Question tag: yes or no question. Isn't a rise tune. These two have to be combined such that the first part will take a fall tune as statements do, and the tag will take the rise tune as yes or no question do. Is attractive. Isn't a. They will pay the match. Won't they? Simon can play the guitar. Can't he? These utterances are uttered with the falling and rising tunes combined. Is attractive. Isn't he? They will pay the match. Won't they? Simon can play the guitar. Can't he? Attitudinal function of intonation. Sometimes someone talks to us and we get offended. When we look at the utterance, the combination of words may not be offensive, but the way it is said may be the cause of the anger we feel. The problem is often with the intonation. Sorry may be said in a way that angers the person it is said to. Said with another tune, it may make the person forgive easily. Therefore, it is good to know that we can use intonation to show our attitude towards the person we are talking to or what we are putting across. attitudinal function of intonation is more complex than what is discussed here. But these hints will guide us in learning to use some basic tunes to show our attitude to the speakers as well as what is being said. Indifference. To show we are indifferent to what is being said, we may use the low rise tune. Let us look at the sentences below. I agree. You may go. John could drive the car. Surprise. To express surprise, it is good to use the high rising tune. Let us look at the following. You are married. The students are on rampage. The principal beat a teacher. Uncertainty and doubt. Also, to show uncertainty and doubt, we use the rising tune. She will bring her child for treatment. Dave may choose to help. Miriam may love the meal. Warm greeting. The tune we assign to our greetings determine the reactions we get from the people they are meant for. For warm greetings, always use a high fall tune. The tone will fall, but it will be high. Let's look at the following. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good day. Nice weather. Routine greetings. For routine, not warm greetings, we use the low rise tune. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good day. In a table, indifference, low rise tune. Surprise, rise tune. Uncertainty and doubt, rise tune. I agree. You may go. John could drive the car. Surprise, you are married. The students are on rampage. The principal beat a teacher. Uncertainty and doubt, rise tune. She will bring her child for treatment. Dave may choose to help. Miriam may love the meal. In a bracket, warm greeting, high fortune, routine greeting, not warm, low rise tune. Emphasis. We can also use intonation to make a word more important than others in a sentence. For instance, in the sentence, he bought a car, we can make bought very important by making it more prominent and assigning the right thing to it. This will be done when we mean he did not steal a car. Let us look at this diagram to make this clearer. Ordinarily, car being the last stressed syllable of this sentence should be assigned the following tune. The sentence being a statement, however, if but, is to be made prominent, usually for contrastive purposes, as implying that he did not steal a car. Then but automatically takes on the following tune. He bought a car. Key. Means unstressed. Means stressed, but not the important tonic syllable to be assigned the tune. Means important tonic. Syllable to be stressed the tune. Intonation also performs a discourse function on utterances. For example, in context such as in the sentence, I am taking my children to school. Children is more likely to be assigned the tune because it is predictable that take my children often collocates with school. If a speaker says, I am taking my children, before he mentions school, the listener must have mentally supplied the word. Therefore, children will be assigned the tune. However, in the case of the sentence, I am taking my children to Lagos, the tune will be assigned to Lagos because it is not often that children are taken to Lagos. This is because Though children and Lagos collocate, the occurrence is not as predictable as children and school, since taking to children to Lagos is not an everyday affair. Summary of Study Section 11. In the foregoing study section, we have learned the definition of intonation as the variation of pitch of utterances. We have also highlighted the components of intonation as optional, pre-ed, ed, obligatory, tonic syllable, and optional tail, but emphasized the obligatory component of the tone group, which is the tonic syllable, explaining that it is on this tonic syllable that the tune, whether falling or rising, is assigned. In addition, we have discussed the basic intonation tunes and the various functions they perform, such as grammatical, accentual, attitudinal functions. The basic intonation tunes are the rise and the fall tune, which have variations such as fall, high fall, low fall, high rise, low rise, rise fall, fall rise, etc. We have also learned that the falling tune is used for simple statements, simple commands, WH questions, and exclamations. The rising tune is used for polar questions, polite statements, and changing statements to questions. We have also learned that the rise or fall tune is combined to separate clauses and list items, while the fall or rise tune is used for tag questions. The attitudinal function of intonation have also been discussed. The rise tune is used for indifference, surprise, uncertainty, and doubt, and routine greeting, while the high or fall is used for warm greeting. We also discussed the discourse function of intonation. End of study section 11. Thanks for listening.